Mom talks sports now. Talk sports. Mom talks sports. Mom talks sports.
Welcome to Macho Talk Sports, episode 7. I'm here with my boys. I got Daniel Flores. Daniel, how you doing?
Guten Abend, meine Jungs. That's right, baby. I am talking German because they're the only
Google Translate, 'cause I ain't understand a word you said, my friend.
that all that means is good evening, my boys.
Hey, okay.
They're the only reason why I smiled today. As you can tell, my Steelers hat is white because they sucked all the color out of my life on Sunday. So let's keep it moving.
You had something to root for. My boy Omar from Cityboytimes. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing good.
I'm sure you are. And we're going to go right into this. We're talking NFL Week 2. And I'm sure part of why you are feeling well is you boys ended up with the win. 10-30, the Jets versus the Bills. As the winner, I will let you take your victory lap.
Okay. What stood out for me, Macho, was James Cook with 132 rush yards. That's what stood out to me on top of everything else that was meshing with the Bills' offense. Coming into the year, a lot of people didn't believe in that offense because of the lack of weapons that a lot of people, say that they don't have.
Mm-hmm.
But Josh Allen is making it look good out there, and so is James Cook. And that defense, too. That defense is really stepping up when it needs to step up because 10 points is impressive for a team that their defense is, not good, allegedly.
Yeah.
So James Cook is what stood out to me. I would say that the Bills' offense overall is what stood out to me this week.
Okay. I'm gonna say a couple things that stood out to me. One, the New York Jets are fucking ass. Let's get that out the way. Get that out the way right away. Justin Fields, 3 for 11, 27 yards. 27 yards. My son threw more yards in the fucking living room than he did. It was ridiculous. It was the worst game I've ever seen in my life, especially coming off of week 1 where it looks like we had a little bit of life in there. We didn't. We're dead inside. So Justin Fields, 27 yards. Breece Hall, 10 rushes for 29 yards. No touchdowns coming until the end of the game with Tyrod Taylor coming in for a garbage touchdown. That doesn't count. Them 10 points is fugazi. We played like ass. The Bills' defense looked elite against us. When we were finally getting some stops on defense, a penalty would come up. We get a third down stop, penalty. We get another third down stop, penalty. We're beating our own ass on top of the opposing team also beating our ass. And this is the most frustrating thing I've ever seen in my life. The Jets, they know exactly what to do. They know how to give you just enough hope to be like, yo, maybe they can be something good. Maybe there's something there. There's some ingredients where we can cook something here. And they can't cook. They cannot cook. Get them out the kitchen. This is the worst start to the season that I've seen. Let me back out. I actually wrote some notes when I was watching the game. So I broke it down into 2 halves. The first half, too many penalties. The only play that we had that was past 20 yards was a scramble by Fields in the last minute of the half. Fields' throws are inaccurate. Defense, decent, but giving up too many plays. Second half, this team sucks. Nothing on offense is working. Joey Bosa is looking like prime TJ Watt. Why the fuck do I root for this team? Am I a bad father for making my son a Jets fan? This is ridiculous. I'm so glad that this game is over. I'm not wearing any more Jets gear until they give me a reason to put on some Jets gear. And that's what I noticed about this game. So, Flores, what is something that you took out of this game?
So I took a little peek at the game, right? And I want to personally apologize for my Steelers giving you hope that your offense was actually good. And I think it's just my defense is actually ass. So I'm so sorry, man. It's the Steelers suck. But it looks like the Jets are still the Jets. But honestly, the Bills control the game all the way from the start. Big day for Cook, as mentioned. Josh Allen wasn't even that sharp, man. He didn't have to turn into Superman as he did in the previous week. Hell, Mitch Trubisky came in there and converted a massive third down.
To Elijah Moore of all people, the former Jet. Like, what is happening? Is this real? Is this a simulation? Go ahead, my bad.
It was an indicator that the Jets were in for a long afternoon, especially after that defense looked terrible against the Ravens. Even though they did come out with a win, they decided to just take it all out and make all the adjustments against the Jets. And yeah, I mean, Fields coughed it up first quarter, didn't get anything going, completed 3 passes.
3.
Brees Hall bottled up. Tyrod Taylor, it looks like he's going to be the guy possibly moving forward, depending if Fields comes back from concussion protocol. I haven't heard yet. I'm not sure if you had.
No, nothing concrete.
Yeah. So, and then it's just after last week that I gave you props and gave the Jets props for having an identity. This time, it just flawed game plan all the way from the start. There was no discipline from the edge rushers, allowing Josh Allen to step up, allowing for Cook to find the running lanes. They were playing Josh Allen like if they were still playing Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers can't move from the pocket. Josh Allen can obviously move all over the place. And again, he didn't need to turn into Superman because James Cook was literally cooking.
Literally, James Cook and Josh Allen were jumping over our linemen because they were just on the floor getting pancaked most of the time. And if they weren't, it was a penalty. It was disgusting, man. It was disgusting. I'm sure for Bills fan, it was fun to watch. For me, I was trying really hard not to break the TV. We don't have too many of those in here, so we need that one. But disgusting. Like you said, Justin Fields did get hurt. He is in the concussion protocol. As of right now, it's looking like he's day-to-day. Might end up missing week 3. If so, the good thing about Tyrod Taylor is I don't think he's that much different from Justin Fields, where their play style is kind of similar, where we don't have to change the offensive scheme too much to fit him in. But we have no offensive scheme. Like, our run game was supposed to be our strength, and we couldn't get anything done through the air or on the ground. It was just complete disruption the whole game, and I'm just glad it's over. I don't even want to talk about it anymore. So what we're going to do is we're going to move on to this Steelers versus the Seahawks. The Seahawks coming out with the win 31-17 as the Steelers fan here. Flores, take it away.
It's with a heavy heart, I have to say.
My
the
fellow
Steelers took my soul. What I was watching was very, very similar to what I've been watching the last 3 years. It's a team that shows up to the game and they just come out absolutely flat. The Seahawks came to play. The Steelers did not. Simple as that. Aaron Rodgers wasn't even the reason why we lost once again. He was the reason why we even had a chance in this game. His 2 interceptions, if you're looking at just pure box score, he has 2 interceptions. One of them was Calvin Austin was supposed to run towards the flat. Pat Frymuth was in the corner of the end zone. Austin decides to kind of cut it back, goes for the ball, tips it, interception. Second one is just pushing the ball down the field. The game's already out of hand. And of course, you're going to force a lot of bad throws from there. Our rookie did the mistake. I can talk about that. I can talk about our defense just being complete ass. But it's just a Tomlin-led team that it's not. I understand that numbers do tell that Tomlin is a great coach. And what's that old saying, if you guys can remind me? Numbers don't
lie.
Yeah, in this case, they definitely do lie. But here's where the numbers don't lie, if you don't mind switching on to the little presentation that I got for you guys here. Numbers don't lie. We are the highest paid defense. Now, also, if you look on the left there, opponents, in 2 games, we've allowed 299 rush yards.
Jesus.
That is absolutely ridiculous that were allowing that much. In fact, I went back into Steeler history, into Steeler lore.
Take us back.
As you know, we've only had 3 coaches the last like 65 years.
Yeah.
Commendable, yes, but I wish we had a fourth at this point. Chuck Noll, it was a running league back then.
Yep.
It only happened 3 times within a span of 2 games. Under Bill Cowher, never happened.
Ooh. Okay.
Under Mike Tomlin, which now we all know it's recognized as a passing league as of the early 2010s, 2009.
Yep.
It's happened 4 times. It's just rinse and repeat. The last 10 games, the Steelers have given up almost 28 points a game. Again, we are the highest paid defense. We do have the highest paid, one of the highest paid players in the league, and he has not gotten to the quarterback. I'm speaking about TJ Watt. As much as I love him, he needs to also start stepping up. It doesn't help that injuries happen, but this is not an excuse from a team that's led by a defensive-minded coach. The excuses were always the coordinators. Yes, now we changed the offensive coordinator. Our offense doesn't look as lackluster as it did. Inconsistent, yes, because it's new, but now it falls on the defense. And ever since Bruce Arians and our defensive coordinator from back in the day, the old guy, Dick LeBeau, I think is how you pronounce his last name. Ever since they left, that made Tomlin look great, our offense has not looked so stellar. Yes, we had the killer bees, but greatness does also overcompensate bad coaching. And that was proved again and again in the playoffs. Against the Patriots, we always lost. We were always outcoached. Against the Jaguars that one year against Blake Bortles, where we allowed 43 points. It's just been year after year after year. I'm tired. Like I said, they sucked all the color out of my life. I'm just ready to sit, watch football. I could go Steelers.
So not only are they the highest paid defenses by a good margin too, about 20-something million. So that's unfortunate. I mean, obviously, like you said, this is a new team. They have a lot of new pieces, both on offense and defense. But at the same time, Mike Tomlin's supposed to be this amazing coach. You guys are primarily known for defense from your whole history. And for that to be the weakest part of the team just doesn't make sense to me. There's just something that's not clicking on that team. Sam Darnold was low-key dicing you guys up a little bit, and Sam Darnold's not very good. At least that's maybe in my opinion. I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but throwing for almost 300 yards, 2 touchdowns. He did have 2 interceptions.
It doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter if it's Justin Fields, if it's Sam Darnold, if it's Drake May next week, if it's Jake Browning now, because sorry, Bengals fans, that kind of sucks. But now it's Browning, and we're probably going to face Carson Wentz. It doesn't matter. They're all going to be Peyton Manning if they play this damn freaking defense. So I mean. You got 2 new cornerbacks in Darius Slay and who's your other boy? Jalen Ramsey,
who did have that big stop at the end, made Garrett Wilson drop the ball. But, I mean, you look at – they made Cooper Kupp look like prime Cooper Kupp, 7 catches, 90 yards. JSN was going in.
Aaron Rodgers can only carry so much. Jalen Ramsey can only carry so much because he did have a very timely pick, which we only turned around into 3 points. Unfortunately, that first half, I'm like, okay, it looked terrible, but maybe that second half is going to turn it around. No, man. That damn end zone interception in the third quarter, then follow it up when the game is still on the line on a 4th and 1 on the 50-yard line. Mike Tomlin decides to punt. Punt, bro. Like, he's done that so many times in big spots where we expect for him to just like, hey, let's grow some cojones and let's go for it. No, man, it's decision after decision. His in-game adjustments is not elite. He is a leader of men. I'll give him that. He's elite at that. But as far as X's and O's, he just is not it. And I'm honestly frustrated, along with a bunch of Pittsburgh Steelers fans, that, hey, I know it's hard to hear, probably coming from a Jets fan, where you guys haven't been as successful.
You don't know
But
pain.
I don't. I don't, and I do. What I do know is
Yeah.
mediocrity. That's what I do know, and I've seen
Yeah.
way too much of it these last couple years.
Omar, is there anything that you noticed from this game that caught your attention or anything like that?
I don't want to, add my finger into it and just dig my finger into it and just make it worse. But, but it's always bad when people say but. But I think it's the same thing that we were talking about the Jets. I just saw a lack of identity. Historically, the Steelers have always had an identity, which is prime defense. And I think that the Steelers are lacking what historically has granted them so much success.
Mm-hmm.
They have the pieces. Now, is it the fact that the schemes are not working? Is it the fact that the coordinator is not calling the right plays? That is what they need to figure that out. Because the Steelers have the potential if they can get that defense together. Again, it's all about identity in NFL. If you don't have an identity, if you're not a pro run team, if you're not a pro pass, like if you don't fit these little categories, you look lost. And I think the Steelers historically they have to get back to being good at defense. They have to. They can't just let these teams walk all over them. 31-17 is horrible.
Flores, you got something else that you wanted to add, or you?
No, I agree every single word that he says.
Yeah.
Outside looking in, he's spot on. I'm just gonna let's move on to the next game before I start.
Let's move on to the next one. Unfortunately, our boy Ryan is not here to talk about this game.
So close.
Coming down to the wire, man. And I'm sure, even though I'm not a Giants fan, I could speak to knowing what it feels like to have hope to win a game and then just completely fumble it. And that's exactly what happened here. I'm going to focus on some of these bright spots, though, and then I'm going to have you guys talk. Russell Wilson, 450 yards. Amazing, right? Especially coming out of how he did week one. Week one, he looked absolutely terrible against a Washington defense that looked suspect after week two. So the fact that he wasn't able to get it going against them was very concerning. But he came out, he aired the ball out. They were able to get the ball to Wan'Dale Robinson and Malik Neighbors, combining for over 300 yards together. Super impressive. Wan'Dale Robinson was known to me as a short receiver where he's kind of getting his drag routes and slants and trying to just get into space in the intermediate part of the field. But he was hauling ass this game, and it's perfect because Russell Wilson is one of those people that loves to throw that moon ball. He's known for that moon ball, and especially coming out of the slot. I mean, he had a lot of receivers doing that when he was in the Seahawks, and I didn't know who was going to fit that spot. I thought it would be Darius Slayton because I've known Wan'Dale to be that kind of intermediate guy, but he fit that role really well this week. Malik Neighbors is Malik Neighbors. He's one of the best receivers in the league, absolutely. But, man, the decision-making by the Giants, and I'm going to let Omar take over after this, and I'm sure he's going to get into it. But, Omar, what's something that you noticed from this game?
There's so many things. No offense to Ryan.
Yeah. I wish he was here, man.
Let's start off with the play calling.
Mm-hmm.
Start off with that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a firm believer that the players can only do but so much on their end. The coaches can only do so much on their end. But when it comes to schemes, you're supposed to prioritize your star players and make them look good. That's why they're called schemes. Mm-hmm. Because it's supposed to make your players highlight your key players on defense and offense. What was going on with that play calling? On both sides of the ball. What was going on? I was lost as to what the heck was going on. I feel like you can give a little kid the controller to play Madden, and they'll call plays better than he does. God. Oh my God, give it to a fourth grader. I bet you they'll smoke you. Like, I don't understand.
Right.
Guys, I don't understand. Like, all jokes aside, I don't understand. You're a professional coach in the NFL. What are you doing? Why are we making these ridiculous calls that make no sense? On top of that, the Giants, 160 yards in penalties. 160 yards. 160 yards. Why? You had the game. We spoke about this last week, guys. Penalties will break you. They're not going to win you the game. You're going to lose a game because of penalties.
Yeah.
There was moments that I was watching the game, and it was penalty. It was one play that they did great. All of a sudden, somebody will mess it up. Penalty. I'm like, you might as well just hug the yellow flag, Giants. Just hug it. Just hug it. Treat it as a damn mistletoe and put it over the whole team.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what stood out to me. The schemes and just the penalties. The penalties were overbearing. It's what lost them the game.
Yes, sir.
The horrible play calling and the penalties. That's what stood out to me in this game.
Completely agree. Flores, what you got?
So I just so happened to text Ryan as soon as the Germany game ended. They won the FIBA World, not the World Cup, but the Europe Cup.
Congratulations for that again.
Yes. Thank you.
Shoins, I don't know what you said. Yeah.
Danke. Anyways, yeah, danke. Then the Steelers game ended, and then immediately switched to the boys and the Giants, and I'm like, holy crap, we're in a shootout, and it's winning time, and I see Russell Wilson, right, and he's gonna go, and then he just does like this crazy moon ball that he's known for, but Malik Neighbors somehow manages to like just catch it. The Giants take the lead. I'm like, holy crap, they're going to beat the let me text Ryan, bro, that moon ball was wild. Then all of a sudden, the Giants decide to play prevent defense, the play calling there, and just let Dak go and tie this game up. And then Russell Wilson had a career game. But then he decides to throw this lollipop of a pass in overtime. That's just it made no sense whatsoever. Now, Dallas, their best player is not Dak, is not CD.
Butter.
Oh, that's right. They did trade Micah Parsons, which, by the way, they could have probably used.
The Giants' offensive coordinator is the Cowboys' best player.
their best player is their kicker, is Brandon Aubrey. This guy is simply amazing. At some point, I'm sure he'll get the Cam Little Jacksonville 70-yarder attempt. I'm sure in real time, or in the real season, Aubrey would probably get that opportunity and probably nail it. He is absolutely the Cowboys at the moment. Dallas defense, though, has serious issues. We know that, yes, they lost Micah. They did kind of show up a little bit against the Eagles, but maybe that's just you had the whole summer to plan for that game. So
that's
maybe
true.
Just
very true.
But they're missing somebody that can finish at the quarterback, which is hilarious because they actually had one. But not only that, their cornerback, career Elam, which is absolutely getting cooked. The Bills fans will probably tell you that this guy absolutely is horrendous. So everybody's going at him. Russell Wilson was definitely going at him. This dude has allowed 232 receiving yards, and it's only week 2. This dude is getting absolutely cooked. But I mean, there's only so much the Cowboys can do, missing a big piece on defense. And I mean, Dak looked somewhat good again. They're just going to have to rely heavily on them. The Giants, all I have to say on them is they have issues. They have deep-rooted issues. They have organizational issues. I know Ryan will definitely speak on that at some point in a more aggressive manner, which I'm definitely looking forward to.
Yes. Yes.
But I'll close it off with this. Malik Neighbors is him. We've known that. He's shown that. Dude is absolutely a stud. And hopefully, to Giants fans, he stays a Giant for the rest of his career. But honestly, that may not be the case.
For their sake, I hope not, man. I hope they keep him. That's a generational talent right there. And he's dealing with injuries. He's been dealing with injuries since the offseason. So he's doing this while dealing with all those injuries, which is freaking impressive. Freaking impressive. Now, for all the hype, and I fell into the hype too, that the Giants had on the defensive side, where is it, man? Where is that defense?
Their front four is phenomenal.
Elite, and they got great linebackers too.
Their players are great. It's, again, what I'm saying. We just spoke about it in the previous segment. The schemes. The identity. What identity do the Giants have? Those 2 Super Bowl wins that they were able to obtain was because
Thank you,
of
by the
their
way.
premier premier
Yep,
premier defense.
for sure. That's a fact.
You don't win those Super Bowls. Yes, you have a good quarterback in Eli Manning, but the defense was able to stop, and then that's what got your offense working.
Yep.
The Giants need to identify who they are, and if they can't do that, they need to start from scratch and just fight everybody. Everybody, the owner, everybody needs to go. Everybody, because if
Yeah.
not, you're gonna lose somebody like Malik Neighbors to your rival, the Commanders.
We're gonna see. We're gonna see. It's only week 2. I know we have all these feelings and all these emotions going into these games because we care, but at the same time, it is only week 2. Go ahead, look on take it easy. Let's see if people make the adjustments that they need to make. If not, then I mean it's just gonna be a long ass season for the Jets. I kind of just gave up at this point. But I'm gonna still watch because that's what fans do, right? That's what fans
Yep.
do. I'm in an abusive relationship and I love it. So we're going to move on to this Washington and Green Bay game. We had Washington losing to Green Bay. This is the Thursday game. Losing to Green Bay at Green Bay, 18-21. For me, what stood out in this game was the defense. The defense from the Green Bay Packers look absolutely elite. It looks scary. It's almost like Micah Parsons is a game changer on defense somehow. Who knew? Who knew? I know. No one expected that. It completely took us all by surprise. But Micah Parsons is pretty good, and he's on a snap count too. So the fact that he's not even playing full force is insane. I'm scared of that defense. That defense looks great. Jaden Daniels looked pretty good. For that defense on Washington, that defense looks so suspect. And I had some high hopes. I didn't think they'd be an elite defense, but I thought they'd be a good enough defense to keep the opposing team from scoring and keeping it close where that offense is their elite and strength, and their offense would be able to win the games where the defense just kind of keeps it close for them. No, it's a complete opposite. That defense looks super suspect. There's a lot of holes in that defense. Their cornerback was getting picked on. I can't even think of his name right now, but he was getting picked on the whole game. And anybody that he was guarding. Well, what's his name? Lattimore. Yes. He was known as a lockdown cornerback a couple of years ago. Now he got to go. He had a lot of injuries in his career. I'm thinking all of those are finally catching up with him. And to end it off, Jordan Love looks pretty good. He looks pretty good. I don't know if I'm still 100% sold on him, but each week that he comes out and balls out like he did, mixed with that play calling, again, offensive schemes, that's a team that knows how to scheme up their players, both on offense and defense. So that does give me some pause to think that maybe Jordan Love is that guy. There's still more games to play, so we're going to double check that as the season goes by. And then I'm going to kick it off to Flores. Flores, what's something that you noticed about this game?
I'm jealous. I'm jealous of the Packers. I'm jealous of their offensive play calling. I'm jealous of their defensive schemes and having a generational talent and knowing how to use them and move them around, and on a limited snap count. Honestly, LaFleur is a great coach, a better play calling as the flow comes in, which makes Jordan Love look tremendous. I also share the sentiment. We've already mentioned it like 3 or 4 times on this pod to our millions of fans. We're not completely sold on Jordan Love, but each week, like you said, he's convincing me. Kind of like that guy in Indiana as well. Each week, he's convincing me more and more.
Yeah. Omar, what's something that you noticed about this game?
I keep saying it, the defense.
Yeah.
I said it last week, and I'm going to say it again. Green Bay's defense means business. They're going to be a top 5 defense in this league, and I keep telling you guys that. And it's like Flores said, the scheme. It's the scheme that highlights the player. It's like, I'm going to use a basketball reference. If your players believe in the system will work because they believe in it. And that system is working for those boys. And Jordan Love, like you said, Macho, every week I believe in him a lot more because, again, the defense can make stops. But it's not guaranteed that the defense is always going to score in a game. But Jordan Love is stepping up. He's thanking his defense by stepping up himself. I think that we got to watch out for that Green Bay defense. We have to be. We have to. Parsons
Yeah.
is balling, and you see his energy. You see that he's like ready for all the smoke all the time. You see how strong he is. He's gonna make the Cowboys pay. Watch. He's gonna make them regret. He's gonna
Every,
make them regret it.
every game, the Green Bay fans are just thanking the Cowboys. Just every game that passes by. I think
Bro,
their first two games were at home,
they
and
got him
they're
for two bags of chips and a moldy bacon, egg, and cheese. That's what I got him for.
that's a fact. That's a fact, man. We're gonna move on to this next game. We got Cleveland losing to Baltimore 17-41. For me, where the hell is Derrick Henry? That's what I want to know. This
Running
did,
from Myles Garrett.
apparently they said last week before the game that he was easy to tackle. He tweeted back, "We'll see you next week," and we still haven't seen him. So ever since then, he just kind of disappeared. 11 rushes for 23 yards. This is an elite running back. How does Baltimore put up 41 points and don't even use their best offensive player outside of Lamar Jackson? That's scary for me to know that Baltimore is capable of that. Again, it's against Cleveland, so you can kind of get away with some stuff. But Cleveland's defense is not chump. So they held the Bengals to 18 points, I believe it was last week. So to me, it was just where the hell was Derrick Henry? I don't know what the hell was happening there. It kind of threw me off. I'm going to go over to Omar. Omar, what's something that you got for this game?
The same
Excuse
thing
me.
that you said. Where is Derrick Henry? Although yes, they blew them out, but you had Lamar Jackson playing quarterback and running back.
Yeah.
That's not going to work in the playoffs. Let's call it what it is. If your running game is not showing up, you can get away with that during the season against these BS teams, the Browns or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But come playoff time, you're not getting away with that. If Derrick Henry doesn't show up, Lamar Jackson is getting smoked.
Yep.
So, where is the real Derrick Henry? Will you please report to the main office? Derrick Henry, please report to the main office. Your parents are here with your lunchbox. Go home, kid. Get 23 yards and eat a bag of chips, kid.
Flores, what you got for this game?
Well, the Browns obviously schemed for Derrick Henry, but they forgot that Lamar Jackson also plays for that team. 41 points. I mean, as dominant as you can get. Again, it's Cleveland. They have Joe Flacco. He threw the ball 45 times. Lost the fumble. It's the Browns. I'm not too high on them. But at this point, Joe Flacco might be actually Dan Marino when he plays the Steelers defense. So I'm not going to talk too much about that. So we shall see. But
Watch what you say.
As we already know, doesn't matter. You stop Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson's right there. You stop Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry's right there.
Yeah.
They're a solid team, and they have the squad to go all the way. But week 2, let's keep it moving.
They're averaging about 40 points the first 2 weeks. So that's scary. That's scary. But let's see if they could continue that. Again, this is a long season. We're going to move over to Jacksonville, losing 27-31 against Cincinnati at Cincinnati. The unfortunate news out of this was Joe Burrow's injury, of course. We could kind of get into that a little more in depth later. But Jake Browning comes in 21 for 32, 241 yards and 2 touchdowns. He can throw the ball. He also got a rushing touchdown. The problem with him is that he also throws a lot of interceptions. So he's a gunslinger, and he has the weapons to kind of just throw it up there. His mentality is, I got T. Higgins, I got Jamar Chase. I'm going to just toss it up. They're going to come down with it most of the time. We should be fine. And when it doesn't, then they just revert back to that again. Jake Browning did show some flashes last year when Joe Burrow went down again, when he was missing some games because of his wrist. So he shows that he is a serviceable backup. It's looking like he's going to have to do it for a couple of months. We're going to see how that works out. But I'm going to kick it over to Flores. Flores, what's something that you noticed about this game?
Joe Burrow and injury history. Let me see if this sounds familiar. Generational talent, straight out of college, absolutely turned around the franchise, but nagging injury after nagging injury after nagging injury. Andrew Luck.
Yep.
That's
100%.
something that Bengals fans hope that it doesn't end how Andrew Luck's did.
Real quick. Also,
Yeah.
I think Joe Burrow has been sacked more than Andrew Luck up to this point of their career as well, which is insane.
And that's the thing. The Bengals have tried to protect their quarterback, their star quarterback, but they're still bottom of the league in pass protection. I mean, I think since he's been in the league, I don't think they've been any better than 25th, which is terrible when you have a guy that's definitely capable of taking you all the way to the Super Bowl, which he did already. And it's hard to believe also that he's in his ninth season already. And it feels like every year he does miss extended time. It sucks for Bengals fans. That's the only petty or not pity. Sorry, not petty.
Mm-hmm.
I am pretty petty when it comes to the Bengals, but that's the only pity Bengals fans will get from me. Other than that, let's play some football. Good luck. See you guys in the next couple of weeks. I hope Jake Browning sucks and you guys lose every game after that.
So, quick correction. I think Joe Burrow's been in the league 6 years.
Oh, 6 years.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Which is still, when you think of him, you still think like he's 24, 25 or something like that.
That's
like
true.
You still think of him.
He's mature for his,
For sure, when he wants to be. Omar, what's something that you noticed about this game, my brother?
The fact that it's scary to think about that Joe Burrow could be the next Andrew Luck. Because reading up on Andrew Luck played 7 seasons and had to retire at 29 years old.
Yeah.
That's very scary. That's similar to what Joe Burrow's played.
He's on his 6th, going into his 7th.
That's what I'm saying. And 29 is you still in your prime as a quarterback. This is not like baseball that at 35 things start to go downhill. As a quarterback, you can be 29, 35, 36 and still be able to produce great numbers. So the fact that Andrew Luck had to retire because of his injuries is very worrisome out there. The Bengal fans should be really concerned because I feel like every year it's the same thing.
Yeah.
So that's what has me concerned. Like that's the main thing. Like Flores said, it's just injuries. It's like the same thing. It's like I hope not. I hope it's not like Andrew Luck because that'll be very sad.
And he's the most important person to that franchise, and you have to protect him. You have to protect him. They ended up getting Jamar Chase when people thought that they would go for an offensive lineman in that draft, and it seemed like it was the right choice because that chemistry is already built in there. Jamar Chase looking like one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. But you can't give Jamar Chase the ball if you're not healthy enough to throw the ball. Like you have to protect your quarterback. And speaking of protection, something else I wanted to point out in this game, I'm going to move over to the Jacksonville side. Trevor Lawrence is overrated, completely overrated. I don't understand. I mean, he had 3 touchdowns and 271 yards. That sounds good on paper, but I'm convinced that he has an insurance policy taken out on BTJ. He's trying to get Brian Thomas Jr. hurt every single game. There's only been 2 games through 2 weeks. He has 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and about 10 hospital balls. It's to the point where BTJ is scared to catch the ball. Like if you see some of these situations that Trevor Lawrence is putting him in, if I'm him, I would pull an Andrew Luck and just retire because, like, I'm gonna die out here on this field with Trevor Lawrence as my quarterback. It's too much. It's completely too much. And that Trevor Lawrence, man, he has to go. He's lucky he got paid. I will say that. So we're gonna jump over to this next game, and this next game being Chicago losing at Detroit 21-52. 52. Omar, I'm gonna start with you on this one, man. What's something that you noticed?
Flores used a great word, but he used it in the wrong segment. Petty. That's over here. You're lucky I don't got my grandpa glasses on. Petty is the key word. We're gonna do the Sesame Street. Petty. For the Lions to sit there and destroy the Bears after their offensive coordinator left.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the game, celebrate by running a play out of his playbook. As a celebration, the whole team was with it. That's what stood out to me. The pettiness.
The pettiness.
In the Lions. I like them. That's all I have to say. I'm done.
The Petty Lions. It has a
No
nice ring to
petty.
it too.
It ain't the
Yeah,
petite lions, it's the pete.
The
Petty
Pete.
lions.
but
Flores, man, what's something that you noticed?
honestly, Chicago still has a lot of figuring out to do. This loss is definitely on their coach pissing off the Detroit Lions as a whole, fan base, head coach, uh, Jared Goff of all people throws for 5 touchdowns. That's like, yeah, they definitely showed up to that game and said, "Hey, you left us. Hey, remember us?
Remember this? Remember this?
Yeah, remember this? Remember what we're capable of, and having the right quarterback in place and the right people in place to go, play a little bit with Caleb Williams, but." Is the Lions? The Lions are going to be top 3, top 4 in the NFC. We know that it was going to take a little bit to figure it out. They're still capable of having games like this in the NFL. It's incredibly difficult to put a 50 burger on anybody, and to them to do this with ease, it's just they're still good. They're still good.
To piggyback off that, Chicago's defense isn't a pushover. It's not like they're the greatest defense, but they're not a trash defense either. So to put a 52 on them is crazy. Jared Goff throwing for his 5 touchdowns and only 23 completions. Like, he didn't need a lot to do it either. They were just having their way with the Chicago defense. I was hoping somebody was just going to go on the field and just call a mercy rule or something like that. It was getting ugly. It was getting ugly. And then to Omar's point, to just run that play at the end of the game, just to throw it in their face a little bit more. I love it, though. This is the bounce back that they needed after that disappointing loss in week 1. Obviously, Green Bay does look like the real deal, so it's not any bad thing to lose to a team like that. But in the way that they did lose, it left a lot of questions, and it looks like they answered some of those questions in this game. So it was a nice bounce back game for Detroit. Chicago, it's just troubles. There's a lot of stuff that they have to work out there. They have to work out a lot of kinks. It's a new coach, of course. There's a new coordinators, new system. Caleb still having a lot of his issues that he had from last year, holding on to the ball too long. He did have a couple of nice throws. It looks like him and Romo Dunze are starting to get that connection that people thought that they would have last year. But Detroit is an elite team. They did lose, obviously, their offensive and defensive coordinator, so there was going to be that learning curve. But wins like this definitely does bring some optimism for the future. And that's pretty much it, man. We're going to move on to New England beating the Miami Dolphins 33-27 in Miami. I'm going to start this one off. For me, what I'm noticing is not Trevor Lawrence, excuse me. His brain just it's always in there. So Trevion Henderson was one of those complete running back prospects coming out of the draft last year. I feel like they're just scared to use him or something. I don't know exactly what it is. If maybe he has some beef with the offensive coordinator or something like that. But they are just
start him next week though. Start him next week.
Think so?
Yeah.
Steelers.
They play the Steelers. So
I don't know, man. I don't know. Ramondre Stevenson might be the one. He might be the one. He had 11 rushes, 54 yards, 5 catches for 88 yards. He was having his way with the Miami defense, which is the theme of the season for Miami's defense. People are just doing whatever the hell they want with them. Tua looks terrible. The offense looks terrible. They had a couple of plays in there where Tyreek was getting open and stuff like that. But this is one. The way that Detroit just put up 52 on Chicago, Miami was kind of known as that offense a couple of years ago. They put up 70 on the Broncos. Like this was supposed to be one of these world-class offenses, the best show on turf, part 2 or something like that. No, it's just completely a mess. Mike McDaniels, count your days. And that's all I got to say about them. I'm going to kick it off to Flores. Flores, what's something that you got for this game?
The fun part about this game, it was the whole special teams. One team returns a punt for a touchdown, and then another one returns a kick for a touchdown. I figured Miami was going to lose this game. They looked completely out of sorts week 1 when you have all summer to prep for that game, and just to come out like that, looking like that with no identity. It feels like it's the word that keeps coming up in this episode. Um, it, yeah, McDaniels definitely count your days. Tyreek Hill, start looking at Realtor and Zillow and all that stuff, looking elsewhere, because I'm pretty sure that team is going to get blown up here pretty soon, which they probably need it.
Yeah.
But as far as the Patriots, Drake May once again proved he's a guy. I hate it so much that they found the guy, but they have a freaking guy. And Mike Vrabel, with that offense, with that team, is only going to get better. I don't think they'll get the win next week, but their running backs might go off a little bit. But we shall see. We shall see.
They'll definitely put up points. We know that. Omar, what you got for this game?
I just feel like I need to get an EpiPen because we're talking about New England. we're not biased in this show, but hey, whatever. Macho's forcing me to talk about the English, so I'll talk about New England. Well, all jokes aside, like Flores said before, the quarterback. I think they found their guy that meshes with the system. I think that the main theme for our show this week is schemes, meshing, and just being able to highlight and set up players to succeed. And I think Mike Vrabel he was a player. I think they respect him. He's the voice of that locker room, and they will follow his lead. And I think that's their guy right there. And kudos to him on his first win as well. So it's like he looks good. He looks good. He looks fit to be out there with them. And I think that quarterback has more. He's going to surprise all of us, I think.
Definitely like Drake May. Hate that he had to go there, but like Drake May. We're going to move on to San Francisco beating the Saints in New Orleans 26-21. I'm going to start this one off, and I'm going to focus on the quarterback, specifically Mac Jones. Brock Purdy is out for potentially another 1 to 4 weeks. I don't think they gave a 2 to 5 weeks when he initially got hurt, so I'm just subtracting 1 week from both sides. There's still nothing official on when he would come back, but the good thing for San Francisco is that Mac Jones showed that he is serviceable. He is somebody that you can get him. Again, back to schemes. He's somebody that if you put him into the right scheme, he's going to be able to make the right plays. He wasn't completely super accurate, 26 for 39, but he did throw for 279 yards and 3 touchdowns. You love to see that. Obviously, the San Francisco 49ers have CMC. CMC is always going to be that kind of safety blanket for that offense when nothing is going. You can rely on CMC. Just hopefully health stays with him and there's nothing there. I mean, They already have, as we spoke about last episode, the 49ers hospital. Hopefully he's not the next patient because everybody's going down there. But to see Mac Jones do what he did, I think does give some optimism for 49er fans to show that they can stay competitive. And the fact that their schedule is pretty easy this year also does play to their favor too. So if they can remain competitive and possibly keep winning out until they get healthy, when they do get healthy, they might be a problem. So I'm going to start off with Omar here. Omar, what's something that you got for this game?
I feel like the 49ers watched the show last week and they were like mad at me and mad at my hot take, so they decided to ruin it for me. But we're not gonna get into that. Kudos to Mac Jones staying out of the San Francisco hospital. Let me stop.
Yep.
So what stood out to me was San Francisco leaned on motion and yards after the catch to get that win. I think they were grinding. They were grinding out those yards. They were trying to get yards after the catch, and I think that's what led them to the win. But the key word, like you said, Macho, is health. Healthy. That's what's going to bring them to the playoffs, because if you have a whole bunch of your key players in the IR list, what are you really going to do in the playoffs? Mac Jones can play great during the season. What happens in the playoffs when you face your real competition? You think that Green Bay or any of these elite teams are just going to let you put up 200 yards on them? Absolutely not. So the key for the San Francisco 49ers is stay healthy. Stay out the hospital. Check out the hospital.
Agreed. Flores, what you got for this game?
nobody's pushing more for free healthcare than the San Francisco 49ers. We don't like to get political on this show, but I'm pretty sure they're going to be the ones leading the movement.
Mhm.
The 49ers, they survived. Their schedule is pretty cupcake.
Yep.
Honestly, I have nothing to say on the Saints because there is nothing to say on the Saints. Cam Jordan, that's it. That's the only guy I know on that team. Oh, that's right, Kamara. But
Kamara.
nobody cares. It's the Saints. They suck this year, and they know they suck. The 49ers are just lucky to, kind of come out with a win with Mac Jones under center. It does help that they have C-Mac, but the 49ers, they do have to find a way to stay healthy because they do have a good squad, big names in key positions, which at the end of the season, they'll probably put themselves in a prime spot to actually go and make a run. But doesn't matter if they make it to the Super Bowl. If the Chiefs are there, they'll just lose again.
Yeah, yeah. That hurdle that is Patrick Mahomes is always looming over that division. We're gonna jump over to these Los Angeles Rams beating Tennessee Titans in Tennessee 33-19. I'm gonna start off with Flores for this one. Flores, what's something that you got for this game?
Matthew Stafford, man, still got it. Still got it. He shows his leadership. Devontae Adams having a massive game. And Cam Ward. Cam Ward, he's being thrown into all of this. I'm kind of happy that he is showing flashes that he is very capable. So Tennessee does look like they found their guy. They just have to put everything together. But the Rams, I'm high on the Rams, probably higher than most, just because they were able to do last year. And this year, their defense is still solid. They only got better. And Matthew Stafford still has that fastball, man. He still got it. So that this was a good win for the Rams, and just another learning experience for Cam Ward and the Titans.
Completely agree. Omar, what's something that you got for this game?
A strong defensive effort by the Rams and just Matthew Stafford being Matthew Stafford. I think that he's proven in the last couple of years that he can be that guy, and that Rams defense is another thing. They're not a joke. Like they mean business as well this year. Coming into the season, I don't think a lot of people thought that they were even gonna, crack the top 5. But I think that the Rams have the potential. Like they do. They've been consistent with their defense, and I feel like they've been like adding pieces, and the pieces that are like key players, they've been getting better. So I think that that's what's going to lead them to a far playoff push.
I agree. The Rams look good, man. They looked good last year too. They were very close to beating the Eagles. We mentioned that last episode, and again, they're still improving. Moving on to Tennessee, though, with Tennessee, I think Alec Ayomanor might be a guy. He played very well. In last week when it was looking like nobody can catch the ball from Cam Ward, I think Ayomanor has shown that he can do it. They're probably going to give him more snaps and run him more plays. I think that's somebody that they have to feature. Calvin Ridley is a little bit past his prime. I don't know how much he has left in the tank. And obviously, you're in a rebuild situation. You want to see what you have with your young boy. He's a rookie. He's looking good. Why not try to feature him more? Maybe try to get some chemistry with him and Cam Ward going into next season and stuff like that, and just keep playing it out. The key thing is going to be trying to keep Cam Ward healthy. People are going to be coming at him often. That offensive line is decent, but obviously they're going to be in a lot of play scripts where they're going to be down a lot. So he's going to be dropping back a lot. Hopefully he could stay healthy throughout the year. Like Flores said, there was some moments in both of these weeks, not just this week, but last week too, where Cam Ward has shown that he has that ability to be that guy. There's just not a team around him yet to kind of show it and feature it as often. But he did have that one play into the end zone, running to the right, throwing it completely across his body to the left side of the end zone for that catch, and that was beautiful. If he does stuff like that, man, that boy is going to be special. He's going to be special. Now, hopefully they could just build something around him. So that's something that we're going to have to see and see how that progresses throughout the season. We're going to be moving on to this next game. This next game is the Panthers taking an L in Arizona to the Cardinals 27-22. I'm going to start this game off with Bryce Young, 35 for 55, 328 yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception. It looks like great stats, but I need to see more out of him. I need to see more consistency out of him, not more yards. Sure, it's a lot of yards, but you also show 55 attempts against Arizona's defense is not the greatest defense out there. Like you have to show more. There was so much potential towards the end of last year, and I'm not seeing any of that in these first 2 weeks. Teterola McMillan is somebody that is looking like it was the right pick. I think if I was in their situation, I still would have went for Emeka Egbuka, but Tet was one of those people that still had some progression in him. So there's, even though he was pretty good in college, they were hoping that he can get better as he goes on, potentially pairing him with Bryce Young for the long haul. Jatavion Sanders coming out of Texas was a pretty good tight end, very good receiver. He finally showcased it. He was very quiet last year. He finally got to showcase that today with 7 catches and 54 yards. So good for him. Hunter Renfrow even getting out there with 7 receptions. But I need to see more out of Bryce Young. I need to see more out of that offense going against Arizona. That defense is just terrible too with the Panthers. I mean, Arizona putting 27 on your head, that's a hard pill to swallow. So the Panthers have a lot of improvement to do on both sides of the field. That's what I noticed, and I'm going to go with Omar for this one. Omar, what is something that you noticed about this game?
The offensive line. We spoke about this earlier. If you can't protect your quarterback is not going to be able to do anything. We said this last week as well in our last episode. A couple of seconds makes a big difference on a quarterback. If you can't provide, like I said, if you can't provide any protection, it's like, where were the offensive line? They were not, like the blocks. Like, I don't even know where to start the blocks. Like, they weren't even blocking. It looked like they were even trying. They were just letting them through. Like, they were, hello, come through, welcome to the restaurant.
They were the Walmart door greeter.
Yeah, just walk right through. Come on, hit them. We suck. We hate. We don't even want to play anymore. Just hit them. It's like, dude, like, you have one job as an offensive lineman, and it's to block. And if you can't do that, then you're not a good offensive lineman. And then they had a couple of holding penalties. Like, bro, like, that team is like, if they don't turn it around, the majority of the year, we're going to be talking about so much negative things about the Panthers. You got 27 put on you from the Cardinals? Bro, here, take a tissue. Here's an issue. Here's a tissue. Take that. Jesus Christ, bro. Jesus Christ.
Flores, what's something that you noticed about this game, man?
Panthers are young on offense. They have a lot of learning to do. Bryce Young was that generational talent that apparently you could not miss. He was the Steph Curry of the NFL. But size matters, believe it or not.
Ladies.
And yeah, size matters. Throwing the ball 55 times is not a way to help your young quarterback. And only 10 rushes for Hubbard. That should honestly be 20 rushes. Let's help your quarterback out. Let's run the ball. Let's become a run first team, regardless of the result of the game. Honestly, let's give him a break. Let's give him a little bit of confidence moving forward, because you need him to be the franchise guy, because you picked him so high. They need to figure stuff out. It seems something that the Panthers have become accustomed to the last couple of days, years, to be in the bottom of the league. And unfortunately, it looks like they're going to continue that trend. The Cardinals, if I'm not mistaken, they're 2-0, which is surprising, but they really haven't played anybody.
No.
So I don't expect the perfect season to continue. But it's good once again that Marvin Harrison is somewhat getting involved. Kyler Murray still is very twitchy, which he's fun to watch, but I don't expect great things out of the Cardinals.
Yeah, I think they're kind of stuck in mediocrity They definitely have some changes they got to do there. We're gonna jump over to this next game, this thriller of a game. Denver losing 28-29 in Indianapolis with that rewinded field goal. They didn't like the way that it happened the first time. Let's hit the rewind button on that one. Omar looks like he's ready to say some stuff. Omar, what you got for this game?
Sorry, Flores, but I wish Ryan was here.
Nah.
Daniel effing Jones. Daniel freaking Jones. Now, the Giants are like looking at these games and they're like, why did we let him go? Now, we did say last week, correct me if I'm wrong, that the Broncos was a seriously good defense,
It
right?
was a test. Yep, I did say that. Yep.
Even though he won by 1 point, a win is a win, correct?
He got it. Got it done.
Correct.
Let's look at his numbers. Daniel Jones, 23 of 34, 316 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. That is impressive against the best, if not the best, defense in the league.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones. Giants and Giants fans, start drinking hand sanitizer because you guys are mad.
Flores, what's something you got for this team?
So Indiana Jones seems to be the real
Yes.
thing, the real deal. There was, even when the pocket would collapse, the way that he would kind of manage himself in the pocket, as opposed to his Giants day where he would just kind of take off and had a little bit of happy feet syndrome. He has complete control of that offense. Plus, it also helps that he can hand off the ball, and this dude Jonathan Taylor can just go out for 165 yards on the ground. That always helps. Speaking of helping out your quarterback, like I said, for the Panther, this is a way to help Daniel Jones against an elite defense. Now, for the Broncos, you almost had it, man. You almost had it. A leverage call that really, really freaking sucks.
Hate to see it.
You had the win, but oh man, the extra 15 yards to end the game can end the game on a flag. And also a little fun stat: the Colts have yet to punt.
Even after the second week. I did not know that. I know that they did that in the first week, which was super impressive, but against Denver, no punting?
Yep, no punting.
Daniel effing Jones, Indiana Jones, Vanilla Vic.
He's really doing it.
He is.
Do you know how impressive that is? That what that means is he hasn't punted. That means he has not wasted an offensive opportunity. He's made every throw count. A dot after dot after dot.
Danny Dimes.
So I don't want to focus on Daniel Jones for mine. I think he got glazed enough, but deservedly so. Deservedly so. He did also get a rushing touchdown, and I will add that in there. Jonathan Taylor had himself a hell of a day. Over 200 total yards because he also had 50 receiving yards on top of that 165. It just wasn't enough for him. He just needed more. Got it done. We could say the leverage call was the reason that, and I wouldn't say that, but I could see some people saying that right now, that the leverage call was the reason that the Colts even won this game. The fact that they were even close enough to win it and towards the end, I mean, shows that this team, they might be for real. I'm not going to go as far as saying a Super Bowl team, but they're looking like a playoff team. Getting this done against Denver, which is in my mind a top 3 defense, is impressive as hell. It's impressive as hell. Daniel Jones deserves all the flowers. He has a lot of weapons. His weapons are showing out. Michael Pittman Jr. is looking healthy. Josh Downs is getting open. Tyler Warren was looking like a great pick in the draft, able to get it done. They even give him rushes every once in a while. I can see them doing a tush push with him in the future. Like there's a lot of pieces on that offense for Daniel Jones to work with. And then, like Flores said last week, it's crazy what an extra second or two in that pocket could give you. He has the offensive line to help him out. That defense is looking pretty good too. Man, go Colts for the shoe, whatever they're saying is. We're going to be going on to Philly taking down the Chiefs 20-17 in Kansas City. Flores, I'm gonna have you start this one with something that you noticed.
The Chiefs have lost 3 games in a row
Mm.
with Patrick Mahomes at the helm. Obviously, I don't think they should panic. They're 0-2. The Chiefs defense did kind of clean up and did hold the Eagles to a decent amount of yardage and everything. So I don't think the Chiefs should worry on the defensive side of the ball. On the offensive side of the ball, they need another weapon. And I know everybody's hurt. It's just a matter of time when they all come back. I'm just saying, and I'm gonna throw it out there again. I know it hasn't happened yet, but Tyreek Hill is only a phone call away. And I honestly think they do need another weapon for that offense to start popping again, and they need to establish the run. Um, the Chiefs are still the Chiefs until proven otherwise. I know they're 0-2, and people always laugh at me, especially all the Eagles fans that I know, which is like all my family. But honestly, I have to stick with them until they're completely out.
And then Omar, what do you got for this game?
Like Flores said, they need another weapon. Patrick Mahomes can only do so much when you don't set him up for success. I'm going to keep saying that for all the teams that I feel like are not setting up their players for success. Mind you, it's something out of their control. You can't control injuries. That's just very unfortunate when it comes to playing ball. But you need to provide Mahomes with some weapons because that schedule is not getting any easier. You're gonna have to face some real competition sooner or later. Not that the Eagles are not. The Eagles was just one of many tests. But
Especially next week.
that's what I'm saying. They need because you can't just wait till these guys come back. Because if you fall to a certain record, it's going to be very hard to grind out wins to make it to the playoffs.
100%. Now, I don't know exactly what's going on with Xavier Worthy. It looked like he was trying to log in some practice time, some try to get some limited time in there. Obviously, dislocated shoulder isn't something to sneeze at, so I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up missing another week. But when they get him back, I think that's going to be very encouraging for the Chiefs. Thankfully for them, they have the Giants next week. So that can be potentially their bounce back game. The way that the Giants defense has been playing is not nothing to be scared of. And then they have a pretty good defense on Kansas City side. So maybe they can stop Russ from throwing for 400 something yards again. But as far as their weapons, first of all, Travis Kelce looks cooked. I don't know if anyone else feels that way. He's looking cooked. Obviously, there's other stuff going on in his mind. He's thinking about the prenups and all that stuff. And I think that there's no running game either, which hurts as well because this is another game where Mahomes has to be the running back and the quarterback. And God forbid something happens to Mahomes, this whole team crumbles. The fact that they're even close into these first 2 week games is because of Mahomes. That defense was able to stop Philly. Jalen Hurts threw for 101 yards. Saquon got his 88 yards and his touchdowns, but that's Saquon. You know what I'm saying? But even the fact that you got him to only 88 yards is impressive on its own. But now with Rashee Rice coming in week 7, because he got that 6-game suspension. Xavier Worthy, we don't know when he's coming back, so I'm going to focus a little more on Rice. Until he comes back, the Chiefs have the Giants next week, then they got the Ravens. Then they got the Jaguars, but then they got the Lions. So 2 winnable games, 2 really hard games, but even those winnable games aren't going to be as winnable if nobody else is stepping up on the Chiefs side. You need somebody to step up. Tyquan Thornton got his very nice catch, deep catch, but it's like just one of those plays happening throughout the whole game is not enough. You need something easy. You can't just keep relying on these big plays because
Flash plays.
Yeah, they don't have the personnel in order to keep that up. Now, when Xavier Worthy comes back, whenever he's back from injury, is he going to be 100%? We don't know that. There's a lot of questions going into Kansas City, but the fact that they're even competitive in these games, it shows some type of optimism to where they're still, the Chiefs is still in there. The kingdom is still in there somewhere. They just have to figure it out with this new personnel, with all these injuries and and suspensions and all this stuff like that. But are they able to figure it out? I think so. I think so. Andy Reid is a phenomenal coach. Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes. They're going to figure it out. So we're going to move on to this next game. We got the Falcons beating Minnesota Vikings 22-6. Coming out of this one, I'm going to start this one. The Falcons were able to run all over Minnesota. We have Bijan Robinson, which is seeming like a weekly thing, getting 143 yards on the ground, getting on 25 yards. It was kind of opposite where last week he had over 100 yards receiving and not too much on the ground. But he's one of those people that can do it all. But then even Tyler Algier coming in off the bench, 16 rushes, 76 yards, and a touchdown. I don't know what's going on in Minnesota. Minnesota was one of those defenses that I felt like could be a top 10 defense, very sneaky defense. Atlanta was having their way with them, just having their way with them. And then on offense, it seems like they couldn't get anything going. They couldn't get into a rhythm or anything like that. And it was just unfortunate to see. Omar, what's something that you got for this game?
The Falcons defense. The Falcons defense was not playing. The Falcons defense, 6 sacks, 3 turnovers. Come on. Like, how more dominant can that be? Like, the numbers speak for themselves. If you can get to the quarterback 6 times, that's something, that's impressive. I was just, like, sitting there, like, watching the game, like, am I watching the Falcons or the Broncos right now? Like, what am I watching right now? Because that defense they were going in.
Yeah. They were flying all over the place.
But the Vikings, I don't know, man. Like, they don't even look like the Vikings. They look like a subpar team right now. I know it's only week 2, but it's a rough way to start.
For sure. Daniel, what you got for this?
Having to rely on such a young quarterback on one side of the ball, and then if your defense is not playing up to the standard that they're accustomed to, Brian Flores usually has those guys nice and coached up. I don't know. The Vikings might be that one team that may miss the playoffs just purely based out of, now McCarthy's injured as well, so that doesn't help, his progression and continuity and just overall just getting better week by week. So the Vikings may be on the out looking in at when is all said and done. The Falcons, though, that offense can be very, very good. That defense is definitely their identity. But Bijan Robinson, he's a stud, man. He really is. He really is. Finally breaking out.
Yeah. Arthur Smith was holding him back, man. He really was. I'm sorry to bring his name up, but yeah, once those shackles were taken off of Bijan, he just exploded. And this was supposed to be a showdown between 2 quarterbacks that were drafted in the same draft, a couple of picks away from each other. Michael Penix Jr. has the luxury of leaning on his running game and defense. Back to schemes, which is the theme of the whole episode. They're scheming him up. They're not putting him in a position where he has to fail. They're putting him in positions where he could win, and he's capable enough to get it done through the air. But if he doesn't have to, we could just lean on our running game as well. So, it seems like the Falcons have it figured out. Let's see if they could keep it going. Minnesota, like you guys are saying, not looking good. We're going to move on to this next game. Tampa Bay versus Houston. This was the first game on Monday, doing that doubleheader. People on the East Coast, us included, sucked for us. But two good games. This was the first one with Tampa Bay winning 20-19 in Houston. For me, I'm going to focus on Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield is not the Browns Baker Mayfield that we used to know. Ever since he came to Tampa Bay, he's been a new guy. He's been revived. And he had some turnover throughout the years as well as far as his offensive coordinators, and he's been working through it every year that it changes. The offensive coordinators do so well that they end up getting head coaching jobs and leaving within the next year. And then he gets a new one, and they just keep it going. They keep the rhythm going. Adding Emeka Egbuka to that offense was the best thing that they could have done. Only 4 receptions for 29 yards, but he does get another touchdown. Mike Evans is Mike Evans. Eventually, Godwin's going to come back. this team is good, man. Unfortunately, they did have a big injury on defense that we will bring up a little bit later in the injury report. But that defense needs to figure it out because I think giving up 19 to this Houston team, which is not a very good offense at all, you're not scared of anyone other than Nico Collins. And there were so many different opportunities where Tampa Bay could have really ran away with this game that they didn't. So that does give me a little bit of pause. I think that they could be a great team, but they have some stuff that they still have to clean up. Flores, I'm gonna start with you. What is something that you got for this game?
Baker Mayfield is literally the definition of progression throughout his years in the league. We're such in an era where we just want results right away, right out of college, right out of high school. We're used to just watching 5 minutes of highlights. So like when you actually see them play, that's what you expect. Baker Mayfield showed with the Browns that he had the it factor. I mean, hell, he led them to the playoffs, beat us in the playoffs, which that freaking sucked, which again, Tomlin team came out flat. He had it. He always showed that he had it. Then the Browns decided to just give up on him. Thank goodness the Rams did not. They grabbed him. He had like that awesome game where he only had like a day practice.
Yeah, comeback win out of nowhere too.
Comeback win out of nowhere. And then Tampa Bay, obviously they're like, hey, we see something in this guy. And my goodness, it's actually paid off for them big time. I like Baker, especially now that he's not in Cleveland. And he's just down the street from me. So Tampa does have the weapons. That is one thing. Also helps out your quarterback. They have a great running game. They have great receivers. Their defense now is taking a hit. The defense was the question mark, and they looked a lot better last week. Now let's see if they can continue to look just as solid, even with this major injury.
Agreed. Omar, what's something that you got for this game?
Like you guys said, Baker Mayfield, I'm really happy that he was able to turn around his career because there was flashes a couple of years ago, excuse me, that we were like, this guy even good? Does any team want him? And I'm just glad that he managed to turn it around out there in Tampa Bay. Like Flores said, he's the definition of progress and like comeback player. Like he's really comeback player. Excuse me. If that award could be given on a consistent basis, I would give it to him every year because the kid really turned it around. He went from like an F up to a relevant quarterback.
Yeah. Yeah, he was almost labeled as somebody that nobody wanted. Sean McVay saw something in him, brought him in. Like you said, that one game, that one day practice came into the game, ended up coming out with the win. They gave him a shot in Tampa Bay, and he's taken off ever since. So good for him. Good for the Bucks. We're gonna move on to this last game. This freaking game finished at like 1 a.m. for East Coast. I hope they never do this again. But I did stay up to watch it. Unfortunately, the thing that I noticed was my best running back prospect, Omar in Hampton, coming out of the draft. This is the second week in a row with another mistake. He had that one run in the last week's game in Brazil where he ran out of bounds and stopped the clock when he wasn't supposed to towards the ending of the game. And then now this one with the fumble I did see that they kind of did a stat correction where they gave that fumble to Justin Herbert, but ultimately that was his fault. As soon as the ball snapped, he saw Max Crosby coming and just froze up, which I do not blame him for. I would scream like a little girl if Max Crosby was coming at me unprotected. So there's only so much I can kind of fault him for, but just the fact that this is another week with another mistake, this is going to be put to the point where even though they gave him first round capital, if he's constantly making mistakes like this and putting the team at potential harm of losing a game, how much are they going to trust him to keep putting him in the game? They're going to give Najee Harris more run, who probably only has one eye. I don't know if anyone has saw his second eye yet. But I mean, even though he looks like he has a step lost and he doesn't have the juice that Hampton has, but they can trust him a little more not to fumble the ball. And maybe that's all it takes, where they not even focus on running the ball anymore in the Chargers and Los Angeles. They have a completely new identity there. They throw the ball. This is Justin Herbert's team. This is another game where he going over 200 yards, 242 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he's even getting it done on the ground. He's running again. The injuries did slow him down. It's not like that wasn't ever a part of his game, but he was dealing with these injuries where it's like we're not going to put him in potential harm's way. But he's looking healthy. He's looking good. His weapons are looking good. That offensive, not the offensive line. The offensive line is a little bit questionable. Obviously, they lost Slater, which is one of the best tackles in the game. But regardless of that, this running game is so questionable that eventually when they stop playing the defense on run defense and they start focusing on Herbert's passes, if they ever get to a position in a game where Herbert is being stopped through the air, can they rely on that offensive running game to try to keep him in the game? I think the question is no. So if you can stop Justin Herbert, which nobody has been able to do yet, but if you're able to stop Justin Herbert, I'm thinking you're able to stop the Chargers, and that's not good. That's a big hole, especially for a team, Greg Roman offense that's just known for pounding the ball no matter where no matter where he's been. Excuse me, Omar. I'm gonna have you start this one. What was something that you noticed from this game?
Justin Herbert being the real deal.
Yeah,
He outdueled Mahomes last week. Showed up for Monday Night Football, and the kid is just shining. But the only thing is, like you mentioned, Macho, if they're able to get to him, who do you have? Who's gonna step up? Lamar Jackson has Derrick Henry, like we mentioned earlier. When one goes cold, the other one gets hot. When one of them gets cold, the other one complements they complement each other.
Mm-hmm.
Who's that guy for Justin Herbert and the Chargers? That's the question mark. Again, identity. Who's the identity? That's the main thing for all teams this year. Your identity. What is your identity? Is it offense? Is it defense? Is it both? That's something that needs to be determined by the Chargers.
And then Flores, what's something that you noticed in this game?
What I noticed was the whole Geno Smith experience, right? Last week we were praising him.
Yep.
We were like, man, he really took it to the Patriots, and then turns around and just, oh yeah, that's right. It's still Geno Smith. Like 3 interceptions, rough day in the office. Chargers defense, man, they really locked in. They locked it in. They're really, really good. Again, Justin Herbert showed out. They're relying a little bit too much through the air, but who knows? Maybe this is the new Los Angeles Chargers, and this is the new Jim Harbaugh era, to where it's just all pass plays. At some point, I think they do establish the run. I think they do have 2 capable running backs. It's just a matter of maybe game plan. They didn't want to run against another division opponent, correct? The Raiders are in that division, so it's just a different look for the Chiefs, different look for the Raiders, and now when they play the Broncos, whenever that is, we'll probably see them switch up again because it's a little different. So who knows? Once they start playing outside of that division, then I'm really going to pay attention to see if that is the new Chargers or they're just kind of switching things up because division games, everybody knows each other so well.
Yeah, man. Don't ever put a game on at 10 p.m. East Coast again. That's
please.
That was almost going to be my one thing that I noticed, and just get that out the way. But yeah, that was ridiculous. That was ridiculous. We're going to move on to the injury report. There were some big injuries. A lot of quarterbacks getting injured, starting with Joe Burrow, of course. Grade 3 turf toe, 3 months minimum. He is going to need surgery on it. They're saying that if potentially the Bengals are able to uphold and keep out of water enough to be competitive, maybe Joe Burrow comes back. I think just keep him out for the year. Just keep him out for the year. This is a dead year at this point. Another year with no Joe Burrow. The offensive line isn't protecting him anyway. Why put him back in harm's way? Why do it? JJ McCarthy, ankle, out for 2 to 4 weeks. This is something that just popped up out of nowhere. The severity of it is still in question. He's definitely already ruled out for next week. How much longer that goes is still up to be seen. Justin Fields, as we mentioned earlier, has a concussion. He's in the concussion protocol. He's day to day. I'm thinking he's going to be able to play after next week, but most likely misses week 3. Kalijah Cansey, big shot on the Bucks defense. Torn pec out for the season. Unfortunate. You hate to see it. He was a big part of that defense, so losing him is going to suck. But they do have the offense to try to keep up, and any shootouts. Let's see if the next man up mentality works for them. And then this last one is going to be Aaron Jones with his hamstring being placed on IR. Of course, IR is a minimum of 4 weeks. They didn't say how much longer after that, but they did end up signing Cam Akers. The Vikings signed Cam Akers for, I'm assuming, some depth piece. They're going to run with Jordan Mason as their starter. How that split looks, still to be seen. But for right now, this is the injury updates. Then last week we ended this segment with Let Him Cook. So I'm going to start this one off with compliments to the chef. Let's see what we ended up cooking. We had a couple of takes. I'm going to go off with mine first. Justin Fields, 250 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and a Jets W. This is what I cooked up. And I'm sorry to whoever has to eat this. I'm sorry to whoever made this in real life, because what the hell were they thinking? But this is exactly what I cooked up. Some BS. 250 passing yards. He didn't even get to 50. It was ridiculous. Ridiculous. I hate the Jets. Moving on to Flores. Flores, what you cooked up. The Dolphins lose and Tyreek gets traded.
Yeah, so I was half right. So if you notice in that picture, half of that rice is eaten.
Mm-hmm.
So I at least got half of it. The trade Tyreek, that may take a little bit longer, which that's how mold forms. If you haven't heard, it does take a little bit longer to start molding up. But yeah, it's not my best dish.
Hey, somebody got a couple of spoonfuls. That's good enough. Omar, let's see what you cooked up, my boy.
Welcome to Macho Talks Edits. So I would like to apologize. There is a bit of an echo from this part of the video on to the end, but we're towards the end of the video anyway, so just stick with us. I do apologize.
Oh, bacon, egg, and cheese. Bacon, egg, and cheese. 49ers under 20 points, less than 85 rushing yards. And then also you said that the 49ers end up losing it late. They ended up winning the game, more than 20 yards, over 85 rushing yards. Anything that you got to say about your dish?
I think they're gonna shut down the hospital, and they're gonna, because they were feeding the 49ers these rotten bacon, egg, and cheese. That's what it is right there.
Is this what they're serving at the 49ers hospital?
Yep, that's why they never recovered.
Oh yeah. Oh man, that makes sense. And our boy Ryan is not here for this episode, but he did cook up something for the people watching. The Dolphins lose big, and then Michael McDaniels gets fired. This is kind of another half right. I mean, they didn't lose big, but they did end up losing, and McDaniels is one step closer to getting fired. Back to what Flores said, it's going to take some time, kind of like a mold. That's what McDaniels is on right now. His seat is hot.
Bro, you gotta have a strong stomach to eat all this shit. What the
Bro,
hell?
that's Ryan, man. That's that marine stomach right there.
Called Tuesday.
That's good. Normal Tuesday for them.
That's a normal Tuesday.
What we're gonna do, man, is we're gonna get into our favorite segment here. Let him cook.
Let him cook. Let him cook now. Let him cook. I said let him cook.
Where's the ingredients, my guys? Let me see. Sazon. We got some adobo.
Some adobo, papi.
We cooking. Who wants to cook first? Flores.
I'll start. Let me enter the kitchen here because I'm about to make some nice rice, white rice. And that white rice is going to be the Rams will get the W in Philadelphia.
I like that.
It's a rematch of the playoffs. Again, I'm high on the Rams. I'm high on life. Then we're gonna move on to the beans, right? Stafford will throw for 265 yards and 2 tutties.
Okay.
And
Two
then
tutties.
the carne, right? The bistec encebollado, right? And then that's where the adobo really comes in, right? Barkley's going to be held to under 85 yards.
Okay.
So I know he was to 88 facing the Chiefs defense. I personally think the Rams defense is slightly better. We shall see, but that's the one that I'm cooking up. Maybe a little Hispanic dish for next week.
Sounds delicious. My boy Omar, what you cooking up?
We're gonna dissect not that nasty bacon, moldy bacon egg and cheese that you have. We're gonna dissect the good one. We're gonna start with the bread. The bread is the Dolphins will lose to the Chiefs.
Okay.
The bacon will be that Mahomes is going to get 2 to 3 touchdowns next game.
Wait, excuse me, not the Chiefs, the Bills.
The Bills, sorry, the Bills.
Mhm.
And the last one has nothing to do with the team. I still think that Tyreek Hill is gonna get traded. To what team I don't know, but I think that he's one way or another he's gonna get traded.
It's only a matter of time at this point. He's on borrowed time.
Yep.
Same thing with McDaniels. I don't know which one's leaving first. They leaving at the same time. They take the same flight. I'm not sure how it's going to go, but I don't see both of them being there at the end of the year.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with Indiana Jones for mine. I think that he's going to end up continuing his streak. He's going against Tennessee. I'm seeing 275 passing yards. I see at least 2 passing touchdowns. And I think they win in big fashion. I think they might put up more than 15 points over. So I got them winning by more than 15.
Okay.
So that's what I got. I'm believing in Daniel Jones. It sounds crazy out loud, but he is cooking. I mean, listen, we said it last week. The Denver was that test, and he passed that test. He passed the test, and at this point, I'm putting my trust in him. I'm putting him in the kitchen. We're going to cook it up. We're going to see what that comes out to, and this is going to end episode 7. Thank you, fellas, for coming out. Hell of an episode. Looking forward to the next one, covering week 3. Hopefully, we got our boy Ryan coming back, and, man, thank you. Thank you for coming out. Appreciate y'all.
Always a pleasure.
My boys.